The Singing Athlete.
Hello, I'm Andrew Byrne of The Singing Athlete. I'm here today to support the work of Corinne Gibbons and Discover Your Voice. Corinne asked me to speak a little bit about voice, what it is, and why singing is so healthy for us. So I brought along my friend, the larynx, which sits like this in our throat. And we have this gray piece that you may have heard called the Adam's apple. Everyone has this though, and you can touch it on yourself. It's right here on me. So inside of the Adam's apple are these little white things called the vocal cords, C-O-R-D-S, not C-H-O-R-D-S, but a chord, like a band, or also called the vocal folds. And these right here are on both sides, and they're a little V that sits like this in your throat. When you breathe, it looks like this, and when you speak or sing, it looks like that. It comes together and meets in the middle. This open space here in my hands is called the glottis. So you may have learned that breathing is very important in singing, and this is a demonstration of why. If you take two pieces of paper like this on your face and you blow through it, the paper is going to come together and it's going to meet. And that's what the vocal folds do. As the air passes through the throat, the vocal cords suck together to the midline of your throat and they make voice. The thing is, there are two different nerves going in here to control this. One comes from the bottom. It's called the recurrent laryngeal nerve, which is a branch of your vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S. The vagus is your recovery nerve in the body. It's your immune system and your anti-stress nerve. So then there's another branch of the vagus called the superior laryngeal nerve that comes from the top. So this is a model that I made myself out of an old notebook cover of the larynx, and I made the little vocal cords right in there. You can kind of see them there stretching. So when we sing, this happens. It stretches like this. You can see a leaning front to back. This again is the Adam's apple, and it's sliding like this. And this nerve helps to calm us down, to regulate our system autonomically, which means lowering our overall stress and connecting us to other people in our lives. So that's what happens in the larynx itself, and then once you get above that, the air keeps moving through the throat, which is called the pharynx back here, and the mouth or the nose as well, depending on what kind of sound you're making. If you make an M hum like this, and touch on your face, you'll probably feel some vibration right in there, because we have sinuses in our skull. There are 4 of them, and they vibrate as we talk or we sing. Because of the range that singing goes into and the intensity of it, it vibrates the sinuses more. And the sinuses are a big part of our health, of clearing out our system. And they're little pockets of space in the head that we want to stay open so our breathing stays very good. And our tongue also is a huge part of singing. It shapes the path for the sound to come out. As I'm speaking to you now, you're hearing these vowels and consonants that I'm saying, and you're understanding the words. You can hear how this works if you hold your breath and you mouth E, A, A, O, U while you flick right here under your chin. Listen for a second. I'm going to hold my breath. Ha. And you can hear those notes that I just made. E, A, A, O, U. So the vowels that we hear all day long to help language be understood are a pitch. They're a note. And so as we practice our music, we get better and better at hearing the notes, even of language, which helps our comprehension and our ability to connect with others. So in your brain, you have a map of all your body parts, and there's a map of the tongue. And that map of the tongue sits next to this part of the brain called the insula. So the insula has to do with your purpose in life. Why are you here on earth? It's stored in that part of the brain, and the tongue is next to that. So as our tongue moves when we sing, we can get new ideas. We can feel inspired to try new things in our life, and we can get in touch with that intuition, that part of our brain that really knows what we need. Thanks so much for sharing this brief talk with me about singing and why it's wonderful for our health. I'm Andrew Byrne of The Singing Athlete.